I came from the mud. There's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree. There's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon.
Hey, what is going on, you guys? Welcome to another RC Conspiracies. Cool news this week. Solid axle monster trucks. We talk about that tonight. Kyosho. We knew something was coming. And now we know it's something cool. I don't know many kids that were into monster trucks in the 80s and don't know who USA-1 is. So a lot of excited people out there. Hey, we're going to get this thing started in just a minute. I'm trying to get a few things going on the back end here. And we'll be with you in just a few. If you're joining at a later time, there's going to be time code in the description. It'll jump you right to where we start. Be right back.
You wanna get to heaven, you gotta raise a little hell. Hope they won't see me down soon.
J.O. Marlin, what's going on, man? Raquel, Brian Taff, Jake, Trail Critters in the house.
Will you find me? Hope you find me. I'll be back home soon. When the sun
Shady silhouetted images and industry teasers are finding their way into our homes and invading our minds. Their calculated information is delivered to feed our addiction for radio-controlled frequencies. It's an RC conspiracy. But we are on your side, cracking the RC code. Because the truth is out there. Welcome to the RC Conspiracies podcast. Get your decoder rings ready and put on those tinfoil hats because your fearless leader is here. Please welcome your host, the lead RC conspiracist, Tony Cece. Welcome to the RC Conspiracies podcast.
Hey, what is going on, you guys? Welcome to another RC Conspiracies. This is a good one. I can't say that they all have been in the past, but I think tonight's going to be good because we have some cool stuff to talk about. We've had kind of a lull in kind of cool news. We've had, different releases and stuff like that. A few things that were unexpected, a few that we knew about. But there's a couple things that have come this week or kind of are being hinted at this week. And so we're going to talk about that. How's it going? A bunch of people in the chat. What's going on, Black Ops? Brandon Timlin, RC Master. All right. So first things first, let's talk about something not RC related, but is super awesome that hit today as well. Let's get into it. That is the Dennis Anderson Extreme Monster Truck Experience featuring the Extreme King Sling. This one right here that they just went up to pick up at the Monster Shop. And yeah, they're getting this thing. Look at that motor in there, engine. It is a sweet ride. I have a couple things on here. We go through Ryan Anderson's. Look at that. Look at that. 3-seater monster truck. You can go for a ride with the man himself. at Digger's Dungeon. They've got it set up. Here it is, running monster truck tires. I thought it might be a mud truck experience, but check it out. It's monster trucks. That is so cool looking. Super cool. It's right up there with his Gravedigger. I mean, that is such an iconic truck. It's so wicked. The guys are ripping around here for a little bit at the metal shop, and then look at that. Boom. Little step to get in and out, etched in there with the King Sling logo. Super wicked. The whole family's there. So Dennis rides up front there, and then in the back. So here's the whole metal shop crew worked on it. Super cool. That's it getting opened up. I thought Ryan and then Bad to the Bone is etched in on it. He's in the back seat. There's two of them back there, so you can strap in and go for a ride. That's the view you get. Gonna be absolutely bonkers, you guys. I can't wait to do this. So I'm super, super excited about going down there and going for a ride. It's not cheap, but this is, it's going to make a lot of grown men cry, I think. I don't know. I'm just guessing, but this is going to make, a lot of dreams that men have had. This is going to be it, man. Dream come true. So get to go for a ride with the man himself, Dennis Anderson. All right. So that was that. Super cool. You guys can check it out on their page. But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff that's coming. And they're actually going to have the Spring Sling down here May 22nd at their Muddy Motorsports Park, which they have, and Bog Hog, King Sling, Brodozer. The guys are going to be there. It's going to be an epic event. $25 to get in. Not bad. So that's just a few days away. Lots of cool stuff happening again. JD Budman, can you visit Digger Dungeon any time of the year? Pretty much, yes. Not everything's open all year round. Like the ride truck's not open all year round. The kiddie park. So they've got like ride-on trucks for the kids that they can drive, the little monster or Gravedigger trucks. They're not always open. So when you go like just before Memorial Day, so Easter to sometime just before Halloween, I probably Labor Day, it starts to slow down there. So, but there's the Diggers Diners open and the gift shop is open, and there's usually a little something going on. So yeah. That's to answer that. That's not RC related, but it is in a way. It's monster trucks, which is kind of what we're talking about a little bit here. So I need to get back to my pages, find out where we're at. Oh, I know. I want to talk about something I've got here, and then we'll get into the Kyosho. Autism RC Dad says dinner has a great food, or the diner has great food. Yes, they do. I ate there a couple times this week, this past week. Talk about that too. Lots of things. We'll talk a little bit. So here's what we're going to talk about tonight, guys. We're going to talk about the Kyosho USA-1, the return of the legend, the awesome old school USA-1. Kyosho had one back in the day. We knew they were coming to the World Final, so I kind of had a feeling this was coming. And I wasn't sure what it would look like. But I figured that they were probably going to bring back the USA-1 in some form of a solid axle truck because of them coming to the solid axle monster truck event at the dungeon. So I kind of had that idea. I'm glad that that's kind of the case. But let's talk about this. So over on eBay, do I have eBay up here? Don't have the eBay up here. That's not very good of me. All right, so let's open the eBay. We'll pull this up, and I've got the parts right here. We're gonna pull this up really quick though. PCB 3D printing. It's Yenko 1974. YENKO 1974. That didn't do it. Did I spell that right? I did. That's the person. Is Genko 1974. Let's try SCX 24. Right, SCX 24 monster truck. Here it is. So this is what I picked up, and it is from Yenko 1974. We have to, I guess, get to him through here. But he has a few things available. And the one I got was actually $65, and it came with the wheels as well. Let me see if I can find that kit. They were sold out, but there still might be a listing. I'm not seeing it. This is where pre-production pays off. And you guys don't actually see that anyway. So my pre-production is really killing me here. Now we see it. All right. So this is the SCX 24 monster truck that I have. In a package right here. We'll take a quick look at. And it's really awesome. The print quality is really good. I'm going to go ahead and mute that because I just set them on here. The print quality is really good. The tires are actually available on eBay as well. They're AMT Monster Truck 125th scale tires. And he makes wheels right here that go with them. So you can buy from him, is what I did, is a set. So I bought for $65. You get the wheels here, 3D printed, really great looking as well. And you get the chassis and the screws and the plates and all that stuff to be able to build it here. So you still have to have a donor truck, an SCX 24 donor, and then the wheels. So I think these, I don't remember what the wheels cost. I guess we're on eBay still. Might as well pull it up. AMT 125th scale monster truck tires for $40 or less. $12 plus $9.99 shipping, so $20. So $20 you get the tires, $65 you get the set, so $85. So you buy an SCX 24 for about $110, get a cheaper one, and you have yourself a monster truck SCX 24 for under $200. So Axial, if you're listening and you just want to go ahead and make us one, you could sell it up to $150, $175, and I'm pretty sure people might be buying it. So we want the little stuff to play with. So I'm going to say, you don't have to license it. Just make sure that those bodies back there fit on there. You know what I'm saying? Can't do that anymore. Thumbs up is what I meant to do. Can't say A-OK anymore. Something generationally we have to learn, huh? Can't use that symbol that meant okay to us for, how old am I, 42 years? It's meant okay. Now you can get completely cancel cultured for doing something that was instinctual and had nothing to do with racism until somebody stole it, the meaning from us. Anyway, here it is. You can see it. The print quality is real good on these. There it is, buttoned up. Comes with the screws. And then if you want these braces, they're there. But if you want to do a truck bed, you don't have to put those braces in. You kind of install them if you want them. It looks fantastic. And I can't wait to put it together. Can the SCX 24 motor and ESC handle those? Well, so that's going to be tricky. I'm not sure how well it's going to handle it and how fast it's going to go. I'm probably going to upgrade it over time. I do have a Reef 999 servo or whatever it is, the Micro 9. It's not up here anymore. It used to be on my desk. So I plan to upgrade it, but he's running it in there, the stock one motor. But yeah, you'll want a brushless setup for it. But I'm gonna just go ahead and do it as a quick switch over, see how it does, and then we'll look at upgrading it from there. I don't have a 3D printer. I like the other one that was out there by Full Throttle RC. I think it looks amazing. But I could just order this one already printed and not have to worry about wheels even too. He figured out the tire setup instead of having to kind of, glue a bunch of stuff together to make it work. He 3D printed them to work, and these are rubber tires. So good on him for that. That's cool news. Just saw that last week on the Micro 24 page and decided to order it. And it came this past weekend. I started getting the stuff in. So super excited about that. You guys are in the chat asking stuff. But yeah, Axial, people are saying they want it. SMT 24, we do want it. We'll pay a little extra over the other pricing. We'll start a little league for racing them too. But yes, Jeffrey, it's the ECB 3D printed 1/24th monster truck. All right, so that was one thing to talk about. Now I'm trying to go through my stuff here. All right. I guess next thing is let's just talk about the Kyosho. I've never had one of these. So you're saying you'll for sure buy a SMP 24. So some of you are talking about the ThunderTech chassis. What is that? Jo says he's got a ThunderTech chassis. Michael Weichel says he might be getting the Nitro. So now here's the thing, right? I have all these electric monster trucks. They're offering this as a Nitro. Do we jump to a Nitro? Do we get one that's a Nitro and give it a go? I've avoided Nitro for this long. One, because most of the Nitro cars out there didn't interest me. This one kind of has my attention. So yeah. Jayhawk is saying there's a bunch of brushless options out there. Izzy Froggy says, I don't claim to be politically correct and proud of it. Yeah. I hear you. The Enforcer by ThunderTech. Does that work with the Kyosho? Mike Eaton says gas powered is a pain. I don't think gas powered is a pain. I think nitro is a pain. Gas powered, like my low C's aren't that big of a pain. But I've seen people trying to tune nitro and get it going, and that drives me crazy. Chris D'Angelo question, why is the Kyosho more than an LMT? That's a good question. Why is it more? I don't know. I think because they can. Kyosho has a base. I think that maybe some of the mounting with the body and some of the stuff they've done, they think they can ask more for. I don't think it's a better brushless system, although it can handle 4S, so it's a little bit more powerful system in that it can and is capable of that. We'll look at here. Let's go ahead and pull it up. I'm going to pull up their page to start with this cute little jumping USA-1. It's super cool, super cute. So USA-1, cool branding. Love everything about this shot. Lots of the flash or reflectors that they have going on here to really brighten it up. Really great photo. Looks cool. Chains are awesome, right? Get some shadows. Nice molded mirrors. You got the light bar thing. So there are some more molded parts. You've got the molded motor here. Finally, they went to Chevron tires. So I had looked at getting, and here's where I get really confused with the Kyosho thing, because they have several things that are similar, I guess, ish here. Like the Mad Force or the Mad Crusher. I think the Mad Crusher was on one I was looking at that was electric, and they had in our hobby town for quite a while. And I was going back to buy it after the LMT came out, or before the LMT came out, but when I had one, because I really wanted to compare it, because it really felt like the best solid axle ready to run I'd ever driven. However, I'd never driven this one. So I was trying to find it. They've upgraded that, at least here. There were some problems that I had with it. Let's see if we can pull that up, actually. I think it was the Mad Crusher. Kyosho Mad Crusher Electric. This is the one. This is exactly the one that they had. So there was a couple things as far as race wise with this. It didn't have Chevron tires, and the hexes were too big. So I love the body on it. It's kind of a weird link setup as well. There's a lot of weird things with this truck. I really wanted to get into it and try it. The axles looked pretty stout. The chain drive, I'm going to admit, worried me a little bit, because I wasn't sure what to do if something went wrong with that. Yeah. So Shen RC says he loves the new tires on it. I agree. Jeffrey, everybody is jealous of you. He says he has the original USA-1 from back in the early 90s. This seems to be a revised, newer chassis that they stopped carrying. Yeah, so it's based off of like this Mad Crusher-ish kind of. We'll look at Mad Force stylings, same battery tray. Look at the shock angle too. It's so severe. And I'm saying this as somebody who really wants to get one. So these aren't necessarily big criticisms. There's things that I'm like, wow, okay, this is different. Okay, Raquel says Mad Crusher's only a couple years ago. Mad Force is older, has the ladder arms. That's the difference. Yes, thank you. So the Mad Crusher is what I was looking at. And it had, so there was a couple issues with it, and Shen saying, looks like they still use 17 millimeter hex type buggy setup for the wheels. Right. Which is fine now, because the LMT does as well. The problem was, if I were to buy this and wanted to race it, I was going to have trouble finding 17 millimeter hex wheels that were Chevron to fit into the solid axle classes. And I mean, I guess I could have put them down to smaller hexes, but then it had such a large axle coming through. It just wasn't going to be an easy set. It wasn't going to be an easy fix or setup to be able to make into a race truck. That's what I'll say. You can see the way that I'm trying to zoom in here. A large nut on these is like, say an Arma that goes on. So the actual threaded part is massive, and I couldn't just put tributes on it. There wasn't like a simple solution for this. The other thing is I hate like saddle pack side, not saddle packs, but like saddle bag setup type of battery compartments on the side, whether it's the Revos or this or any of them that I've had where they have like a compartment like that on the sides that you put batteries in. Not a fan of. I don't necessarily, and I'll be honest, I don't necessarily love the setup for the SMT10 battery tray either. It's pretty limiting. But I really dislike this style. So if I just want to run a 3S instead of two 2S's or a single 4S, it gets more complicated because of the way that they've designed it. Jo says the chain drive works flawlessly. I've never snapped a chain or anything weird like that. Ted Goad, I've always used the 1/8 scale stub axles and used Allen head bolt to hold the wheels on. Okay. So he just changed it up. Anyway, it looks good to me. Those are some of the initial hesitations that I had when we were running SMT 10s, Clodbusters, and then like all the custom stuff. And this was sitting there, and I'm like, this becomes a little bit problematic when there's simpler solutions. And this was $500 like this. Then I got to do some kind of tire wheel set for it, and whatever else I don't even know demons that this might have that I have to figure out. And then I also started hearing things about the axles on these in the newer versions not being as strong as, say, the older ones, which everybody talked about being super strong. And so I didn't get it. And that all to say, I am very interested in what Kyosho has out now with this. They've done a few things with it as far as making it stronger. They've added 4 gears now into the diffs instead of a 2-gear setup, and some other things. So the body is amazing. If nothing else, I would love to have this body in roll cage and a light kit for it. All right, let me see what you guys are saying. We'll get back into this. Scroll through this. Jay Lauren, chain drive, no issues. Raquel says the hex are 1/8 scale size, not like the LMT. Okay. Shen RC, hope the new wheels and tires are lighter than the Mad Force. Freebird, what's the best RC drag car on the market? I don't know the answer to that. J.O. saying that the chain drives never snapped as well. So yeah, it's basically, J. Lauren, it's like the Mad Crusher with chevrons, it's a great thing that change is made. It's got a sick body on it now, and they've thickened up the axles to make them more durable, as well as a couple other things like the diffs, making those stronger. At least that's what I've read so far in this thing. I don't know how wide. I remember that the axles were really wide on this, and I don't know how wide they are as far as for the classes and all of that. Now, the cool thing is they are going to have this truck at the World Finals, so we'll get to put our eyes on it. Hopefully, it's supposedly supposed to be a production version of it. These light buckets are amazing. They've gone over the top with some of these scale details on the truck itself. Mark, if you love the USA-1, man, I love the USA-1 trucks. Definitely, when I saw it, I said, I got to get this. I was trying to order it today, or yesterday when they announced it, but it wasn't up for pre-order yet. Hot Racing better remake the aluminum axles. That would be cool. Shen says, I'm sure with this torque monster. So I do remember that from the Mad Crusher videos. It was a torque monster. That body's going to get thrashed. So I'm curious if it's going to be like other Kyosho bodies that are about $120 or something to get it. That would be awesome. Autism RC Dad says, is anyone racing a Mad Crusher? I haven't seen it yet in any of the leagues that I've raced with. Doesn't mean they aren't, but I haven't seen it. I think some of the Nitro guys were running them for Nitro class. Yeah, Jay Lauren, love that they finally put in a 4-gear diff. Dionisi says, yeah, I've had many iterations of Mad Force Crusher. Fun truck, just don't expect to go big air with it. Axles break and can be a little bouncy. Well, we found that with most of them that are plastic axles. You go big and stuff breaks. So it's a bit longer and a bit wider than the LMT, is what Raquel's saying. I'm curious how wide. John Gantner. I haven't seen it even up for order. I just tried to do it from their site itself through Kyosho America. But overall, I think it looks cool. And the light package on it, these optional lights just look fantastic. This looks like it'll snap off in a heartbeat. This realistic carburetors with that little square mount on it there, that looks like it'll tweak off. I know those are goners. The side view mirrors are goners. If these light bars don't pop off like the Traxxas ones, those are for sure to snap. But if you click on these, you kind of get a look at the modifications for it. It's 4S capable. Again, has a really strange shock angle to me. Oh, Tad says it's 17.9 wide. That doesn't make rule for many, at least for our club. I don't think. I think, ooh, that's wide. 18 inches almost wide. So the other thing, and Raquel is saying it, this is the other thing I noticed when I looked at it, because I already had a Sen truck at this point, and I looked right here in the middle. Let's see if I can zoom in on it. There we go. Steering link here on the back side to this little brace, to this long arm, to here, and then your servo mount, I think, is down, if I recall, from the top onto this servo saver arm. See if I can find a picture of it, the internal side of it. Where, oh, where is that servo sitting? I feel like it's upright in the middle of the chassis. Down, it's right here in the front. So it goes from here back to the center, to that brace, and back to the front. Super weird. And I had so much slop and stuff with the one from Sen. And finally, yeah, so it'd be right here next to this electronics box. And so if I scroll back up, when I was looking at it, yeah, so your servo's up here. There's the arm, goes all the way back to the center. And then it has basically a servo saver here. And then it goes all the way back to the front to steer. And then it's got all these little metal arms that just look like they'll bend and get just torn up. So the upper links are kind of odd as well to me, but yeah, it's definitely like a mix of retro and I don't even know. Yeah, you can see the very well here the way the 1/8 scale hexes are on here. It's super cool looking. I agree. Does have the metal drive shafts. You can see the chain drive here. Everybody says that works pretty good. I guess I can see how it would. I mean, bikes take a lot of torque and power through a chain. You know, as far as mesh and stuff, that seems like it would actually work great using chain. Shen says the steering is funky, but it works. Nicholas, everybody that I was reading says that you just basically set your steering rate down to 85% because it's sending it to both servos. Once you make sure you have both of them trimmed in. Yeah, Gio says, I don't think this truck was designed with any competition in mind like the LMT was. It's just a good old sweet looking truck to bash around with. Does look like it has the metal knuckles here at the end of it. And these kind of an interesting lockout system here for the rear. Looks like you could easily make that a 4-steer as well. I'm wondering if it's a setup that you just tie to this center, if that's why they went to the middle, so you could buy a 4-steer kit that would then trace and basically mirror this onto these arms here. Because the axles are just basically the same things, which is nice for parts. Okay, Jay's saying that there's on-axle mount options. Well, that's great. That's what fixed it for my Sen trucks. Yeah, Jay Lawrence says that they do make a 4-steer option. That's exactly what they do. That's what it looked like when I was looking at it. I mean, it looks very similar to what Sen has set up for theirs, and getting it to recenter itself was a pain in the butt. It felt like you were steering the whole time. Like you'd let go, and most RCs, they go back to center. Well, with that one, you had to like literally drive it back to center. Jessica's 2-car garage says LMC has their own class. Maybe that's what they're after. I don't know what they're after, honestly. I think they just are after the fact that, well, one, their USA truck is very popular. People still want to get their hands on it. It had kind of like a cult classic vibe with it. So I think there's that. I think they see that there's a market right now for solid axle trucks. I think that this will probably be way better than the RC 4-wheel drive one. So there's that. I know that there are people that want these axles for sure for projects that they're working on. The diffs and the drivetrain of it are supposed to be pretty good. But you can see they do have the 4-gear now differential, so that's a nice upgrade. And they're actually doing a 5-link suspension. So this is basically a stiffener, almost like a sway bar here. Effectively. So there's that. But I mean, it's one to add to a collection, that's for sure. If you're into solid axle monster trucks, it's definitely something to have in your collection. Full ball bearings, the basic stuff, drive shafts, middle gears, servo. Their controllers are pretty good. I'll give them that. Kyosho does have a pretty solid controller. And then the optional parts. But again, what might make this go next level is to just go with the nitro version. So here's the 4-wheel steer conversion kit. So it does just tie onto the back. Lateral rod mounts, that's very Clodbuster-ish. But these are going to be more like a sway system with these. Stiffen it up a little bit side to side. Anyway, I think it's probably priced a little high, but you get a lot of something different for that amount. I mean, it's not an LMT. I don't think a lot of things are gonna be like an LMT right now. They've kind of set the bar pretty high. I know there's a lot of frustrated people with it at the same time as I say that, but with the recent upgrades to it that they've done, I think it's gonna take it to that level where it really is hard to compete with. I know at least on the racing side of things, we're turning faster at our race league with the no limit. A lot of the guys are turning faster lap times with the LMT stock setup than even with the pro mods we've been running. So they're impressive out of the box. I think this is just a completely different class of truck. It's still solid axle, which is awesome. But I think this is something that you just really rip around your yard with and have a ton of fun with. And you have a USA-1 that'll jump and look cool and take quite a bit, but I don't think it's going to be a racer. I could be wrong. Prove me wrong. It's pretty outdated in some ways, and that it's just kind of reimagining something old with the new body on it and trying to make it a little stronger because they know what we're going to do with it. They know. It'll be a pretty sweet looking Shelf Queen or Backyard Basher. Let's go on RC Propaganda. Alex Jason says, too little, too late. It was cool years ago, but now that the LMT is out, these new releases need to be the same or better. Raquel saying is the USA-1 is slightly larger. All right, so here we go. 16-tooth spur pinion. Gear ratios. So, yeah, 17.7 inches wide and 22 inches long. That's a big truck. It's a big truck right there. Runtime 9 minutes approximately. Oof. Torque's 8 motor, 2300 kV. So 4S, it'll get moving. I didn't see, is the ring gear, is it a metal gear? Oh no, it's got the chain drive. But what about the gear? I think it's metal geared. Oh, so here's the order page. But when I did this last time, it was out of stock, coming soon. Yeah. 79,000 yen. I have a lot of yen to save up. Anyway, it's pretty cool. But it definitely, it's going to be more of a nostalgic truck for a lot of people, I think. So I think they're going to move a lot of trucks. But I think it's for different reasons than the LMT's moving a lot of trucks. I don't know. You guys feel free to agree or disagree in the comments below or to the side. They're not below. I got mentioned in a group. Let's see what they're mentioning. Oh, yeah, about the Megalodon. Oh, let's answer him. It was parts. The rap from Bari. Getting work done as we're live. Done. But I came here for something else and it just pulled me away from it though. Oh yeah. Upcoming things, Badlands, guys. Gonna be there. It's gonna be awesome. June 24th through 26th. I still need to get my tickets. I bought my campground, but I need to get my tickets. It's really an epic event. And if you have a 1-to-1, there's a pretty sweet 1-to-1 course there. If you don't have a 1-to-1, they rent side by sides and stuff. You might want to save up and look into that for one of the days, or stay a day extra or come a day early. It's wicked. You're all the way there. You should do it. Brad Hall says $730. Ugh. Ouch. Alex Jason says still fun, no hate. Always like the Mad Force approach. Chain drive is cool though. Right. So the Nitro class, right? Here's Jo's thing. This is where I could see racing it. I could see racing it in the Nitro class. It could use a resurgence. We still do it at the No Limit RC World Finals at Digger's Dungeon. There's usually not enough people locally for local races to run Nitro. Maybe this will give it a kickstart. Maybe we'll have a bunch of USA-1s racing each other. I don't know. I'm more leaning towards, if I got one, to maybe go for the Nitro. So yeah. RC propaganda. LMT is a beast. Lots of guys at the races had fast trucks but could not keep them on the track. That's the thing. You got to be able to keep it on the track. You only need it to go so fast. That's the one thing I do like about my Pro Cs. So I'm trying to get a 3S battery for it because it's just not fast. After driving the LMT, it feels slow. So I want to go faster with it because I'm getting really fast lap times with the LMT. I'm like, well, we should be able to do this with my Pro Mod. So let's get 3S in it. I'm just running at 2S. And what I do like about it, though, is I never overdrive it. I'm full trigger on that thing the whole way around, and I'm always in control with it for the most part. You make it 3S, that may go out the window. And so right now I'm driving within my bounds. And if someone beats me, it's just because they're faster. But I kind of want to have that little boost to be able to compete if they are faster, instead of just driving a true straight race that's good and a good enough speed. Anyway, it's one of those things where it's like I'm debating. I'm gonna order up. Reedy makes a 3S shorty pack that'll fit into the Pro C. It's a Dean's connector, which sucks, but they make one, and I'm gonna try it and see how it does in the Pro C and see how I like 3S on it. I'll probably have to get a couple of them because it's only like 3,300 kV, and I'm probably, it's a big event. Like if I don't qualify high and I have to run through, several races, it could run out. But anyway, yes, the LMT is fast, and it is stock fast. Stock with Proline tires on it to keep it under control, or Renegade tires on it to keep it under. So you either get the Proline Demolishers or the J Concepts Renegades, and it'll stay under control better. Rin says, Shelf King. Yep. Could be. Cody, what do you think Axial will show at Axial Fest? I don't remember him showing anything new at Axial Fest this last year. I mean, the Rift is here, so I think that's going to be a big thing, is the racing, the rock racing, maybe. Everybody's got to come for me, though. I'm the reigning champ of the rock racing with my almost non-axial, all custom axial based part rock racer. So yes, Shen says the Nitro 3-speed is sick on these. That's what I keep hearing about. So I'm tempted. So Raquel saying that the Kyosho can use 2 motors, unlike the LMT. Okay. I mean, it's already faster technically at 4S probably. I don't know that it needs the 2 motors. Yes, the RC propaganda. LMT wheels are out of stock everywhere. They are. I have a set of 3 lefts and a single right here still from my I purchased the wheels locally because they had them in stock, and I found the tires online, and I just literally glued them up and said, "This is amazing. You don't have to worry about them being on wrong because there's only one way that they go on." And I got to the track and I had 3 lefts and 1 right. They've been bagged wrong by somebody. So, yeah. They are, however, coming out with pre-mounted demolisher tires as well. So it's going to be Proline tires pre-mounted onto the LMT rims. It's a bummer if you want to dye it, but if you don't mind it being a white rim and you hate gluing tires, that might be the way to go. So Earl says he ran his LMT on 4S by accident today, didn't blow up. There's a lot of people that have done that, and they say, the guys at our hobby shop say, and I won't say what hobby shop or what guys, but they say that both the ESC and the motor are technically rated for 4S. But the gearing and all that stuff may not be, and the components of the LMT may not be rated for 4S. So it may not be the electronics blowing up. It may be blowing tires off of beads and that kind of stuff. So, yeah. The truck being rated 3S may not be exactly due to electronic specs. My hobby shop literally has a sticker of a guy peeing on nitro. Maybe he's just refueling it. Oh, so they are having a sneak peek at Axial Fest. See, I didn't know that. I heard from Trail Critter that Element RC is supposed to have a sneak peek or an announcement this weekend, and they do have a sneak peek. Speaking of conspiracies, they dropped this little goodie that said, "It's Monday, the start of a new week. Seems like a great day to start a fresh build." And everybody's looking at it like, So I don't know if they're just building something they already have, or whoops. I don't know their product lineup good enough to know what this bumper is or isn't. So I don't know if they've got something they're doing new or if they're just working on something. I don't know. But that was sent to me by Trail Critter if there is something new coming. Trying to read the comments here real quick. Alex Jason says, yeah, the LMT can run 4S, no problem. The ESC is rated 4S. You're just pushing that high KV motor. Yeah, so you wouldn't want to do it long bursts probably and really push it. Super Drake, LMT Losi did have 4S option, but was removed the week it was debuted. Yeah, and so I talked with Losi from the beginning, and they always said it was only 3S. And so everywhere on Horizon and everywhere else, it was listed as 3S. And they spec'd out the motor and the ESC stuff down at the bottom, and that's where it said 4S. But up above, the truck said it was rated 3S. But that KV motor, I wouldn't run it with those big tires. I wouldn't run it 4S. So it really comes down to, like, things can do certain things, like motors can be rated a certain way, but it again depends on the load you're going to put on it. So that higher KV motor with the bigger wheels and stuff on it for 4S, It's possible. What's going on, Josh? We were just talking about the 3S battery you told me about for the Pro C and whether or not I want to do it. I'm definitely going to order 2 of them to have and debate whether or not I'm going to race them because I feel so good running the 2S in them right now that I want the extra punch, but I also don't because I can right now full trigger and be full control and do good, but it's one of those things where if you give yourself too much, do you overdo it? Trail Critter says the bumper isn't from anything on their current lineup. So there you go. Shows what I know. That was Badlands. Proline, you guys probably saw it, has that new Supra drag type body coming. I'm sure that's something that got mentioned on Harley's show. I haven't got to watch it yet, but he's really been talking a lot of the drag stuff, so I'm going to guess that it's mentioned there. Kyosho also has the Optima back in stock. Old school, another return of the legend. Traxxas, we saw this. The drag stuff is back. They're talking about their stability management. That's not something we run. MST has this really sweet looking Land Rover here. That's not called a Land Rover, but yeah, it looks pretty cool. The other thing was Charisma. We've been talking about this. We saw the body. I didn't know it was going to be a micro, but it's like a micro rally Ford Escort, like old school Australian rally car, but it's in micro package. So when we're seeing this kind of stuff, I wasn't expecting it to be super small, but it's totally a little micro. You can race around your house. Looks pretty cool though. But I just really want the micro monster truck. Somebody needs to give us that micro monster truck. So it looks, yeah, kind of like this ish type of car. Not exactly that model, but it's what it reminds me of. All right. So I think that was it as far as the conspiracy stuff I've tracked. Has anybody else seen anything else? And notifications are going nuts on my Facebook. MST has a solid axle truck. Yes, they do. It's about the size of the Sen. It's smaller, or like a Wheelie King. And I've heard good reviews from people about it being durable. Twitch Hobby, man, have a good night. Is the Gravedigger the only licensed body for the SMT? Currently, yes. That or the kit. That's an MK1 Escort. Says on Autism RC Dad. Yep, there it is. Looks wicked cool. Ford Escort MK1. I dig it. Okay, yeah, so I had the MK2 pulled up. Good night, Shen. But anyway, guys, that's about it. Lots of stuff coming. As far as racing goes, I just posted a video about the race we just had with No Limit. It was a ton of fun. First of all, Dennis had a car show at Digger's Dungeon, and so they leveled that whole area to be able to have parking and stuff in there. And then he gave us 2 huge fresh piles of dirt, which I didn't get video of before I started moving. I'd already started the night before moving the piles. So by the time I got the next day my camera, I'd already started laying some of it out. But we started laying out a track. I'd been sent a track design, and we like to run it before the race so we know what we're in for and we can get lap times down. And it was decided that it was just taking too long. So even with the group we had, it took quite a bit of time. We ended after 6:30, which is kind of late. It's a little bit later than normal for us. And so going into something like the World Finals where you have so many people there, it was just, it would take forever probably to get through it with that many people, and you're calling and trying to get people up there and staged, and it's staged in the center. And some people were driving from the center, but people like me were walking up to the booth to drive from, which was a little bit of a walk, or you try and just back your car in, which wasn't super fast either. And it just, so not only were the run times a little long, they were we were getting them there at the end as we were getting the track broke in, but it still was just overall, it felt like it was everything had stretched out. And so we're changing up the design a little bit. I think we're going to keep one half of it and then mirror it on the other and do like kind of a figure 8, not exactly. But it'll have left and right turns, which is nice. So it'll add a little bit of complexity to it, which is good. When you come all that way, you want to have a little bit of a track that you can run. So anyway, that was good. The weekend was great. It was actually, the track we had was really fun to run. I really enjoyed racing it because the corners, it was basically a big oval almost. And you could really like let the cars drift the corners and slide and carry some speed, which was fun, but you also had to let off because you'd jump the corners if you hit the jumps at full throttle. So it was nice because you had to check yourself some, but then get on the throttle to like break free through the corners. And I really enjoyed it. But yeah, it was a little bit long, and Autism RC Dads is right. It's tough to see the far corner a little bit, which is why I was standing up in the booth, which I never ever race from in the booth. I almost always just stand ground level or on the back of the blocks where we normally start from in the corners. There's like railroad ties that make a box, and I usually just stand, set my car there and then stand right behind it when it takes off. And it's a great spot to stand, and it's fast because you can just, the person in front of you takes off, you can literally start putting your truck in spot, and if they're not standing there. But even if they are, the second they're out, you can drop your car and be ready to go that fast. So it could speed things up on that side of things for sure. But some people are always going to want to go stand up in the booth, the driver's stand area. I prefer standing on the blocks. I stand ground level all the time when I'm driving, so it feels good. But yeah. There's a RC Dad said, yeah, we did a lot of watering. It took a lot of water. It was finally breaking in. But yes, it should be awesome. We're going to get it dialed in. For World Finals. Should be an awesome weekend coming up. Lots of cool stuff coming up. They've got the mud truck race on the 22nd. The next weekend is the World Finals. So there's a lot of things you can do down here right now, which is cool. Things are kind of opening up in a way. So that's been good to see. And it's, we're outdoors. It's a big open space. And so that's been good. Curtis T said his axle housings are being shipped. That's awesome, man. Raquel says I need a 1/20th Tamiya Mammoth. What's a Tamiya Mammoth? Is that big dump truck? The metal one? Yeah. Holy cow, they're expensive. So even at 1/20th, those things are massive. Cool. Don't see that happening. Autism RC, it's a sweet setup, gonna be some good racing. Yeah, I think they're gonna be. So if you picture the left-hand side, I think we're gonna start in the original blocks, not in the center, but in the corner. Go down. I may have a drawing of it that I was working on. It's not necessarily my call. This is something we'd done. So it went here and then around that block that we already had. This was the finish jump. You hit it in reverse, go out, go around the block, right turn, then hit that jump, come back around the bottom one here, and then they both would end going down side by side in the middle, drag racing it out for the finish. So that's something we talked about. That is one potential way. But I think we're going to set up that design, and then the actual way that it's run is still to be decided and determined. Because there's other ways you could run that exact same track a little bit different. But it still also then has the 4 corner pieces and makes it really cool for freestyle. Because you've got the different pods and corners, you've got a big jump in the middle, got the side jumps, which will on the backside allow you to get a little bit more air. So it should be good. Sean O'Connell, what's the rules when wearing a mask when you're racing? There wasn't any because we were outside. So I think it's if you want to wear them, you can. But there's a lot of stuff coming out about outdoor numbers and being very, very, very small percentages of transmission outside. I did get some Vidavon axles for one of my other trucks. I got them in black for the son of a digger that I broke testing the track. And then I got some of the links. I got 4 sets of them. So it'd be like 2. There's 4 bags like this. So there's 8 total. So I could do lower and upper on 2 trucks. My thought is I'm just going to put lowers on all of them and not the uppers. That's my thought. Or maybe on my extreme bash truck, the original son of a digger, the POS SUD, I might put top and bottoms. And then on the other trucks, I'll put bottoms. That might work. And I got one of the steering servo mounts for it as well. That's going to go on the Gravedigger that's already silver axled. I got the black ones to go with the black son of a digger axles. I like the Vidavon ones. I know that they're not adaptable, but I don't feel like I need to make changes to them as far as the toe in and all that. That feels good. And so I like that certain parts of it are locked in and I don't have to worry about tightening down screws and all that. But yeah, they're nice. The Trio ones are great too. I have no complaints about the Trio axles that I have, honestly. I just felt like these went together a little bit easier. And I like the way that it carries the diff on that axle part. And it's strapped in there. I just like that. Get the mesh and you can see it. Trail Critter, I'm wondering if Traxxas will wake up and make a solid axle Bigfoot. I hope they do. Maybe they'll do something different and not try and compete in the same league and just make like an X-Max size Bigfoot solid axle. That would be pretty cool. That would be pretty sweet. Then they're just like, hey, boom, we got our own class. Massive solid axle monster trucks. But the Vitavons, so like I don't need to adjust caster stuff on the front. They turn so well anyway. I've been driving on the Vitavons on the Gravedigger, and I really like how it handles. So I don't think I would change anything in it. So that's why I said, well, I wouldn't change the way it's set up. So I might as well just get the one that I like the way it all fits together, the oversized bearings and different things that they've done. So, yeah, I mean, that's it. There was no shims needed, any of that kind of stuff. It was just, they went together so nice. The Trio, I had to really fight the bearings to get them to seat all the way. And then they was too tight. And it was because I don't know what, I just took it apart. You guys watched me. I did it live. I took it apart like 3 times before I felt like the gears meshed right. And I didn't add any shims or anything. I just like tightened things down differently and pulled on. I put a wrench through the pinion part and just pulled on it to really seat that bearing in all the way. And then it was kind of okay. I haven't had any issue with it since. I've been driving it since I assembled the Trio axles, and it's been awesome. So yeah, I like them too. I did get 0 degree toe for the rear, but the 5 degree have been awesome. Like they drive so straight. I don't know that I want to go with the 0 degree. I know it fights itself a little bit, but I don't feel like I'm losing enough speed to make it where I would want to give up the way that it tracks so straight, because the front toes out a little. And so with the rear towing in, just like they do in the racing setups with the different buggies and truggies and all that, toe out in the front, toe in the rear. And it just kind of compensates for that as far as driving straight. But I got him from Exo Caged RC of all people. So he's now selling Vitavon parts. Reached out to him on Facebook, and he had, I bought originally just the links from him, and they came in, and then I went and proceeded to break that axle. I didn't actually end up breaking it. I just pulled out the screws out of the bottom, and they didn't really break out. I think with the Freestyle RC brace there, I think I would even go a little bit longer screw than the one that comes with it, and that's what I ended up doing, and I haven't pulled it out again since. So, I don't know. It's been good, but I also haven't been flipping it again. Like that truck's not meant to flip. So, if it does break again, that's when I'm going to go ahead and put these axles on. Otherwise, I did order a body from Crawford Performance, which one did I order? Pretty sure I did there's 2 J Concepts ones. Let's look it up. I have a roller here that I'd like to build, and I want it to be a Sticker Bomb 3. And I'm pretty sure I went with page 2. I looked at this one. So this one here fits on the LMT. In fact, it's sitting on one in this picture. That could have been a cool sticker bomb. Let me see what I ordered, actually. Let me just verify that I did get the other one. Team CPE. Hmm. 10 scale 1989 Ford F-250. So I did get this one. Okay, yeah. So this is the one I got. That's not what I thought I ended up ordering in the end. So I'll do some kind of flame paint job or something in the back here and sticker it off on in the front and then sticker it off on the back like I've done with the other trucks. I honestly thought though that I looked at that one but then chose the race truck. This one. Nope, that's not it. But it was similar to that one. But it's the one that's on the LMT, this one, the 2020 Ford Raptor. I thought I'd chosen this one because it'd be kind of a cool, different take on a sticker bomb. Huh. I wonder why I chose the other one in the end. Interesting. Well, I got the 89 one, not the 2020. But I'm going to do it up as a sticker bomb. That's the plan. Interesting. I went there with the intention of getting the other one. Oh, well. I must have seen something about that one that I wanted. Maybe for moonwalks or something. I don't know. It is a Ford, so there you go. Lee Krug, do they still make a full ball bearing kit for the TM to be a TXT1 or jugs in clods because most of them parts are compatible? Yes, they make bearing kits for them. Fast City Bearings has them. That's who I get a lot of mine through. Oh, and that's what Angry Yank RC said. Big America joins us. We're actually just about to end. Just kind of wrapping up with a couple of little things, but yeah, looking forward to it. Hey, Michael's in here. What's going on, man? Sean, I bought Rad on my Apple TV for I think it's 4K, and we were watching it, and I'm surprised. I remember now that none of my friends liked the movie growing up. That only people that were into BMX actually liked the movie Rad. It's probably like Flying Cars, where people that are into RC might give it a pass, even though I know a lot of them didn't, just because it's about RC. But yeah, Rad, Bard O'Connor and them, man. The storyline was something else. I'm not sure about running that body with the cage. They aren't running a cage with theirs. I'd love to find a way to make it fit with the cage, or maybe get like the Percy's chassis by JERRC that has like the truck cut out of it. So we'll see. We'll definitely see. Jeff Squires World Finals is Memorial Day weekend. 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Early qualifying on Thursday if you want to get there on Thursday. JMRC saying something about an LMT with the axial transmission plate for Axial Fest. I think it has to have several components that are, I think transmission. There's certain things that they were requiring to be axial or axial based. So even like the transmissions could be hot racing, but they were still axial based setup transmissions. So with the low seas, I don't know how much would have to change, but they don't really have a monster truck race that I know of anyway. Cody Vandenberg, rad was rad. I like it. I tried to watch it with my boys and my wife, and they all made me turn it off about 10 minutes in. The music, the acting, the mom. Tiffany Thiessen, though, right? Is that every boy's crush? That movie. No, it wasn't her. It was um what was her name? In the show with the Olsen twins. Full House. Lori Laughlin was it her that was in it? Yeah, it was Lori Laughlin. Either way, both of them were very memorable in my childhood. So there we go. Off topic. Quite off topic. Yes, Autism RC Dad, Lori Laughlin, that was it. I still remember like having a crush on her from Rad. I always wondered why there weren't more BMX movies. I guess because I was into BMX in the back in the day. I just thought everybody was, and like this is the greatest thing ever. I'm sure there's going to be a bunch more movies just like this. Nope. Should have been some kind of radical Rick based movie or cartoon. I sure do miss the magazines in the 80s and 90s. That was something else. I just can't. I mean, we have all this stuff available to us through computers and get it all like immediate. But man, there was something about going and getting like the latest month's magazine of like BMX Plus or Thrasher or whatever magazine you were into. There's a bunch of guitar ones we do too. And just go through them for the whole month, just over and over, read the articles. Now I try and go through something like that would be like a magazine online, and I might read an article and then just flip to somewhere else. I can't stick with it. Not like we used to do. Even with the RC ones, car action and I'll go and I'll read a blurb, but I won't just sit and pour through the whole magazine in one sitting. Like I just need to have that physical copy to do it. But they don't make them even like they used to. They're much thinner and smaller, and there's not advertising in them. It's not making money. I mean, I remember looking at part numbers for bike, like ordering, call the number for like Dan's competition and order up a, set of like S&M Slam handlebars or whatever, or whatever it was, new flight cranks or the profile cranks that were back in the day. They had a name for them. There's shark bite, I think, pedals and all kinds of stuff. Bulldog brakes. Hetmansky's here. He says magazines equal dead. I know, and it's such a shame, man. Because you don't consume the internet in the same all-encompassing way that you would a magazine. Even books, like, man, I was reading an ebook. I remember the first ebook I read and it ended. I'm like, well, holy crap, I didn't see that coming, because like the book, it wasn't getting lighter. Like you weren't feeling the thickness in your left hand and then the thin, like last few pages in your right. So I was just like caught off guard when it ended. I'm like, what is this? So yeah, get your DK XXL gooseneck undermounted. What do they call that one when you? Yeah. Profile mini hubs. Yeah, man. Get the cast stand single strut front fork. That nothing was sketchy like riding that. Seen a couple of those break. Dirt bike magazines. Yeah. Anyway, a lot of that stuff is fun, man. Lee says he still rides park in Flatland and Street. That's cool. I don't. I don't do as much exercising as I should these days. I got my Reynolds Racing Barry McManus 44-inch wheelbase, 42. It's 44-inch with double XL neck, DK, and then the slam bars on it with original Redline cranks, flight cranks. 3-piece. They got a bunch of the different sprockets for it down there, but yeah. I think my PK Ripper's still at my parents' house up in the garage attic. And I had a hyper, the first hyper, when Eric somebody was their first pro racer. Eric. Man, that was like 97. Eric Carter. He's still at Hyper Bicycles. I'm looking him up on, he's a brand manager in Carlsbad, California for Hyper Bicycles. Interesting. That's back in the day right there. This is not RC related at all for those people that came in here expecting to be talking RCs right now. Tim Fuzzy Hall back in the day. I remember when he did the first front flip. I'm trying to think of who it was. Jody O'Donnell? Jody Donnelly? The first one in the competitions with the NBL at the Nationals to land a backflip. I remember that they would keep him in even though he wasn't landing it because he'd just keep trying it. And I remember him vividly landing it at the Christmas Classics in Columbus, Ohio. We still have it on VHS in the attic right over there. Wild stuff. Yes, Black Ops. Can the Freestyle Servo Saver be shortened? It should come with 2 different rod ends for it to shorten it. But also, if you just tighten your rod ends up, depending on where they are, you should be able to shorten it to a degree. Yep. So Jody Donnelly did the backflip, and then Tim Fuzzy Hall. And was it at the like final nationals? I remember him going for it. It was off of a corner, picking the top of it and doing a front flip off it. That was some wicked stuff. But that's where I got like my love for just jumping things. And then as kids, we took, when I got this little thing right here, it picked up, any like little, you'd have your blanket sit down on a couch or whatever, and whatever you had, if it was a pen or whatever, you'd kind of use those like little curves, those little jumps, and set them, like double them and all that. And so then I saw the RC cars. I'm like, man, that's fun. I'd love to jump those. So, yeah, start getting into all that. And went from there. Now I'm doing RC stuff. Never saw that change coming. But, as I got older and was playing music and other things, then getting hurt, really, as we were actually playing in bands and playing shows and all that, it became a part where it was like getting injured was kind of a big deal. And so that's where things started to slow back on that. But yeah. Anyway, RC hit and stuck, and we're having so much fun doing it. Now we're doing all monster truck stuff with it, and exciting times. So we're going to end it at that. We're kind of off track anyway, off topic. Just kind of seems like a perfect wrapping point, I think. But Lee's going to head out, so maybe we should all head out after we read what YSU says here. He says, I did a backflip on accident with my GT, wrecked it, and started skateboarding full time. Rode for my local shop and venture trucks through high school. Loved BMX, but felt more comfortable skateboarding. Well, there you go. J.O. Man, have a good night as well. Autism RC Dad. World Finals, here we come. I hear you, man, on that one. Sean, everybody, Paul. RC Propaganda. Have a good night, you guys. And yeah, we're going to keep on doing this stuff. The RCs, man, they're fun. And I don't see stopping it anytime soon. And I don't see a reason to ever stop it because it's just a fun hobby. So I can always see getting enjoyment out of it and just having a release for, going out and blasting through a few packs at the end of a day or whatever, or running on the little track here. But I really want those. I want to get the little monster trucks going and do some indoor stuff that you only need a little room. You could have people just show up and set 5 tables together and make a little monster jam stadium to race. Then we're talking. So gonna have to find some jumps, make some things like that for it. And it'll be fun. Anyway, guys, have a good night. Catch you next time. See ya.